if you are in QA, right, especially a manual tester, here is a key thing that you are going to need, right? You're going to need to know how to check out code, right? You're going to need to get familiar with Git. But, I'm a manual tester. I don't do automation. I don't know code. Doesn't matter. You are going to need to be able to test these the different software applications locally. So that means you need to know how to check out the code, how to switch to the branch, right? And how to start up the application. A lot of times, like there are times, like I remember I did a lot of testing locally, right? Even if you're going to be running automated tests, right? Let's say you're not writing the test, but you're running it. You're going to need to know how to do that locally. So you're going to have to check out the code and have the proper configuration. So that means you clone the branch, right? Then you check out a branch, and then you know how to actually start the application. Very, very important, because although you say, "Oh, but I'm only a manual tester," right? Fair, but you still need to know how to get to the information of what you're going to be testing. So my number one that you need to get familiar with is with Git, right? And then once you get familiar with Git, like that means like knowing the different commands, then you can start getting more specific to what your organization uses, whether it's Bitbucket, GitLab, or GitHub, right? But you need to be able to actually utilize the tools that you need to be able to get to the software that you're going to be testing. Not all organizations can always make the software available online, right? Because it costs a lot of money to like set up these testing environments. So if you're able to get and you might not have an environment for every single branch of development. So let's say there's like 3 developers, right? One developer is working on one branch, another developer is working on another branch, and then the third developer is a totally separate branch, right? You like, as nice it would be to be, I'm just testing it in dev.whateverwebsite.com, right? It's not always possible because having those different environments are expensive, and you might have the dev branches what goes right before you go to production. But how do you test the different features that are being worked on? So a lot of times you need to actually be able to pull it in the branch and get it started. And another thing with that, you like Docker is really close to that, because you might be able to pull the branch in, but let's say you're running containers to deploy your application, you would need to know how to get it started up in Docker. And usually the developers will have a really good instructions and README file to get going with that. But you still, like, whether you're starting it up, let's say it's a Node app, right? And you're just starting up the Node app like regularly, or you're starting it up through Docker, you still need to know how to actually get the code and how to actually switch to that branch that it's on and how to actually start it up, right? Very, very important that you get familiar with checking out code. Even if you're not contributing to the writing of whatever the code is, to automation tests, whatever, it is essential. I repeat, it is essential that you know how to actually get a copy of the code, clone the code, and then you actually are able to use that to switch to the branch and to start up. Shout out to the newest subscriber. Shout out to you. Let me see who that is. Who is that who just subscribed to the channel? I definitely appreciate you. That is Jubar. Hope I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, but shout out to you. Welcome to the Tech Coach Ralph channel. All right, to finish up, right? I'm saying you got to get really, really familiar with checking out code, knowing how to test locally. Testing locally is so essential, because like I have so many different repos on my computer.
Move on, back to work, chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
That was slightly rude, but anyways, right? It is so important to know, and you can easily, I repeat, you can easily get familiar with this, right? How do you do that? So Tech Coach, how do I get familiar with checking out code? Well, there are millions of repos that are public on GitHub. I have some public repos on my GitHub. Just go, you check, you just do git clone, and it's going to make a copy, and then you say git branch. You see what branches are available. You can switch to that branch, or you can check out a new branch, right? You can create a new branch, or you can check out an existing branch, right? So what we can do, just real quick, right? Because as we wrap this up, I want to show you how quick and easy it is to get a branch, all right? I'm going to go to my GitHub, right? Actually, let me not go to my GitHub because I have stuff that you probably shouldn't be sharing with you on my GitHub. But let's go to Chaos Camp GitHub, right? Chaos Camp GitHub. It's probably stuff you shouldn't see there either, but whatever. Let's see. Can I? Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's use mine. Now that I can filter on the visibility. Let's use mine, right? Repositories. Can I see that? Oh, all right, there we go. All right, so there goes my public repos, right? Let's go over to. So here we are. So here we are. We have 12 public repos in my GitHub, right? And I can drop this link in the chat for you as well, where you can access my GitHub and just check out any one of these repos, right? Just check out any one of these repos. And if we scroll down, let's say we go to, let's go to this one, right? This is from like almost a year ago when we were doing the M3U8 parser, and which I'm going to mention later, right? So there goes the M3U8 parser, and all you have to do, right? Go to code right here and you do copy URL, right? And now you go like, you gotta make sure you have Git installed on your computer, right? I'm not gonna go walk through that. Maybe I'll make a short video if you need help installing Git, but you need to do that. It's tons of videos on YouTube that shows you how to do that. That's why I don't want to waste my time doing that. Time is important, right? But then you take that and then you go into your terminal, and I guess we could do it, right? Let's say we go here, and let's see, we get a folder. All right, so let's do this. And can I zoom in? Okay, so let's go here. And if I do just git clone, it's gonna make a copy, right? I'm gonna go cd into M3U8 parser and say clear, we do git branch. And there's only one branch, right? But let's say I wanted to create a new branch, or let's say I want to check out a new branch. So git checkout -b, and I give the name sample branch. Now it's going to check out. Now it's checking out the sample branch, which I just created because there was only one branch, right? And now you can start testing, starting it up, whatever it is that you need to do. There's so many different ways that you can start up an application locally that we're not going to talk about that. But I just want to show you like one of the most important parts in your journey as a QA tester, manual or any other. And I mean, every single person in tech uses Git, but honing in on the testers, the QA professionals, you need to know how to switch different branches, because you might be working with 4 different developers, right? And they're all working on a separate branch. You need to be able to easily switch between the branches and be able to test those, right? Sometimes simultaneously, right? So like you just finish on one, now you go and you check out the other branch and you continue to test. That's what we do, okay? So that being said, now let's say we go back to the main branch, right? And you just want to create another branch, right? But you don't want to check it out yet. So git branch, and then what is it? I think yeah, just git branch, and then you give it a name, sample branch 2. And now we do git branch again, and now we have sample branch 2 if you want to check it out. And now you are on the sample branch 2. Right? Where the little asterisk here shows that we are on sample branch 2. there's like other Git commands, but that like, if you are actually checking in code and stuff like that, that is very important to learn. But that's like this is like the starting point for anyone who is either doing manual or automation testing, where you need to actually be able to get a copy of the code to be able to start up the application so you can actually be able to test, right? And even with automation, right? You will need, like, let's say you're writing automated code and you're testing it locally, you're going to need to actually start up the application locally. And then once the application is started, then you can actually run your automated test. So it all plays in together. All of this is super, super valuable. So I hope that brings some type of understanding and meaning and everything like that. But you definitely want to get familiar with being able to check out code, whether it's from GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, wherever the code is stored, whatever repository it's in, you want to get familiar with that. All right. So throwing that out there, you definitely want to get more familiar. Okay. So that was my first tip of what you really, really need to get familiar, to be an amazing QA tester, amazing QA engineer. All right.